Welcome to Community Cuts live from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome. We have a guest today, Bobby Canton from Brooklyn, New York. And Donnatella C, welcome back. And Rickie James, welcome back.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and start with an introduction. So excited to be back. You wouldn't know, Robert, but I've been missing in action, collecting a check, getting paid, and not doing anything. So today is July 3rd, 2026. It is the 4th of July weekend, and America is celebrating 250 years of existence. Hoop, hoop, hooray. Today's guest, Mr. Robert Canton, brings one of the most comprehensive and culturally intelligent frameworks for strengthening Black males that we've ever seen. His work blends generational psychology, spiritual grounding, documented rites of passage, and historical kingship models to create a full system of identity, discipline, responsibility, and community restoration. Ooh, check it out. We are up close and personal now on the live. Robert also draws from the legacy of Marcus Garvey's global movement, a movement that shaped the worldview of millions, including his own father. Garvey's message of pride, unity, and global Black identity informs Robert's mission to rebuild legacy, restore cultural confidence, and reconnect men to greatness, which is something that is very much needed. So we love you for that, Robert. This conversation is about healing, rebuilding, and restoring strength, spiritually, culturally, and generationally. And now I can take off the people's glasses.
Restoring strength. I'm going to jump right into that.
All right.
Relationships, as Marcus Garvey in his philosophy of Back to Africa. Can you elaborate on that? Bob Canton, you're on the stage and you are flying up.
Well, first of all, thank you all for having me today. I think I started this recently just to compile a lot of this information. I think from an inspiration when people first looked at the movie called Black Panther. I don't know if you remember Black Panther.
Of course.
So they gave a vision of Wakanda.
And
Wakanda was one of the most beautiful, one of the most efficient, one of the most holy looking places that they could be in the world. They had harmony. Everybody worked together. There were no poor souls. Everybody looked like they belonged. And the first thing I thought of when I saw that, I said, where's an application for Wakanda? I want to sign up for Wakanda. Then I said, wait, what would be the requirements to come into such a highly technological, spiritual, uplifting environment? Would I even be worthy? So I started thinking about what would be the requirements to come into the new kingdom. Who could come to with a resume and say, I can add to this society?
Can I fit in? What crossed your mind 25,000 times?
We want more than that. What you can add.
What can you add?
We don't want nobody taking anything away. And this is what started this when I started thinking about this. Then I got into legacy. We always knew about the 3 M's: Malcolm, Martin, Medgar, Mandela. But there was one before, that was Marcus. And Marcus Garvey instilled something in a lot of our people of a hope and a dream that he knew that this country, even though we're 250 years.
His relationship was pure. I would consider it that.
And we know for a fact that some of us did not enjoy a lot of the freedoms that a lot of others enjoyed back 250 years ago. So this legacy wants to be rewritten, but I am one that will not be rewritten anything I have anything to do with it. In fact, I'd like to even instill certain things in young men about legacy. We have certain communities that stress legacy. we don't have to get into naming them, but part of their thing is teaching their young men their legacy. We need to come back to that. Our pride comes a lot from knowing where we come from. And a lot of us don't even know where we are coming from.
Well, I think that's a proverbial mic drop, as they say nowadays on the internet. And I think you make some great points. The importance of associating our men of color. I have two brothers, lots of cousins, uncles. Come from a blended family. Both of my parents are remarried, so I have my biological father and I have my stepfather, who I never refer to as stepfather. I refer to him as dad. I've known him all of my adult life. And I think you're right. There are some other communities that teach the men within their community their worth and their legacy. I want to say a lot better than we do in the Black and brown community. A lot of our men of color do feel unappreciated, I should say. And they also feel like we as Black women don't reach out to them as much and pat them on the back. And I think that's a kind of love-hate relationship between the Black woman and the Black man. And going forward, especially under this administration and what they're trying to do, I like you, want to see us bond closer together to help our Black men move forward. You know, I look at my brothers, and every day I wonder, how is the world treating them as they move through universe. And with that said, I think Rickie was saying he really would like you to lead our conversation. What is the first point? Because I see you came, as they say, you came with receipts, right? Where would you like to start off? You are our guest.
Okay, well,
Whatever you say goes.
all right. So, first of all, I started this framework to prepare. And I was talking to a couple of my friends that I've known Rickie for over 60 years.
Wow.
And I've known these guys around 50, 60 years. So we're long in the tooth at the same time. And two words kept coming up: decision making and responsibility. Now, I am, if I'm going to talk to my brothers about certain things, first of all, your main responsibility is to make sure you take care of yourself without leaning on anybody else.
There you go. There you go.
That's
A
the
big clap.
only thing we gotta work on. If we work on the basis of anything, all Black men gotta look in the mirror and say, I am only responsible for myself.
Man in the mirror.
All right?
Well, okay. So Black woman enters the conversation,
Uh-huh.
right?
We don't hold her out.
No, we don't hold out.
But I think that's part of the problem that I see from a Black woman perspective when I listen to Black men. And of course, you are a Black man, so you know better, right? But I think our Black men are already held to a sense where they have to be responsible for themselves, where the Black woman is kind of coddled and nurtured, and people kind of give her things within our community, not the administration. And I feel like for some of our Black men, especially those who may be in a family where they don't have a Black father or they don't have a mother present, that's the problem with some of our Black men. They don't get enough hugs and kisses.
That's not a problem.
The last time I checked, you don't date Black men, so I'm letting you know that our Black.
Don't step in it. I know what you're gonna say.
But I'm just saying, it is. Let me say it differently. Our Black men are not taught that they can be vulnerable and they can rely on other people. So when
the younger Black man and the older Black man, you see that the younger is not as responsible as the elders.
Well, because they're not an elder, and you weren't responsible when you were young.
I would.
You know, I think what a lot of this is too. Also, a like, I was getting into the generational breakdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us that are older are called baby boomer generation.
Right.
All right. And a lot of us were exposed to different exposure as far as even movies, as far as music,
Yeah.
as far as the political stance. A
Yeah.
lot of us remember a word called North Vietnam, South Vietnam.
Yeah.
A lot of us remember the riots and the blackouts and stuff like that. And as we've gotten older, we start to know that even outside forces could take over our situation much more influentially because we didn't have any strength internally to see it coming.
Okay.
Now, this has a lot to do with your stance or personal stance as far, are you a peacemaker or are you militant?
Mm-hmm.
Are you naturally a person who thinks all the time or you act all the time?
Mm-hmm.
There is someone in a movement that everybody can use if they have a commitment to be used for the good of the movement. And that's what Marcus Garvey and a lot of that teaching came from my father. A lot of broken promises fell with black people because I think a lot of that time, I don't know if you remember the movie, what was it, with Godfrey Cambridge and everything. Cotton Comes to Harlem.
I had it on my mind.
Cotton Comes to Harlem.
I was
I've
in
seen
that
Deco
movie.
Malley.
I was
You were in that movie?
Yeah.
They said, kids, you guys, get it, stand there.
Deco Malley, and that was a representation of the scam,
Mm-hmm.
a representation of being mistrusted, of trusting the wrong person. So we've always had mixed signals about this was coming up, as far as whatever way we wanted to extend or liberate ourselves.
Yeah.
So at this point right now, if we got to go back to square one and rebuild, let's do it.
But can we acknowledge that you said a couple things, right? You remember the riots of blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you around during the pandemic?
2020.
Right. So these young people are coming up in the pandemic version of the civil rights movements. There were riots. People lost their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Small businesses lost their stores.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about the types of people that were in positions of leadership when you were at your youthful stage. And I think one of the disconnects, and I'm just going to speak out of turn, is the same thing that you see that's currently happening in our Democratic Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the seniors, the elders, and the wise ones like you who are in the traditional Democratic group. And then you have, I believe it's the DCA, right, who have all these progressive young people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ironic, I'm on another platform and we stream live on Wednesdays.
Has it ever changed?
Well,
throughout history, there was Adam Clayton Powell, Marcus Garvey.
But my point,
on to Jack Johnson, the boxer.
I hear that part, but my point is, it's forever within our community. The one consistent issue is our inability to act as a unit across generations, right?
No, I don't see that.
Well, I mean, all you have
Black
to do
race has been a unity, has moved in one direction or another.
We're saying two different things, though. I'm talking about the disconnect from your youthful age being able to recognize and respect the wisdom of the elders.
Ironically, how you're saying this, the only environment where that carries weight right now is in prison, unfortunately.
What, elders
in prison
you mean where they actually listen to them?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that may not be that positive either.
But that's a power thing, though, right?
It is.
In prison, the institutional behavior is a little bit different because as a young person and you step into prison, unless you're coming in with a whole bunch of money, I think, on your commissary or a list of bodies
outside of prison.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Go to prison, there would be nothing wrong. But if you do not have any knowledge of outside life, and you go to prison, you find it is a difficult situation.
Well, I don't know. I've never been to prison. I have been inside central booking, and that was scary enough for me. I visited a couple people in Rikers Island, and that was scary enough just trying to get past the checkpoint to visit someone.
Let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college in Buffalo.
Yep.
In Buffalo, they have a prison there.
Mm-hmm.
They took me on a tour of that prison holding and the incarcerated individuals.
Yep.
I walked into a section called the Bravo section.
Mm-hmm.
I did not believe what happened. The entire Bravo section went out into applause. Someone made it outside of the Bravo section, and they were pointing at me.
Well, they thought you were an inmate?
No, they thought I was somebody that lives outside of the white man grabbing us.
Mm.
Grabbing the
I
black
see what you're
man.
saying.
And they were all black inside of the Bravo company. This idea you got to have once you are in society. You have to have the knowledge of what goes on everywhere.
Well, I agree, but everything that's happening right now politically in this world with this administration, removing our rights, specifically what they're doing, in Georgia and Texas and Mississippi with voting. And we still in New York had a horrible turnout in this most recent election on June 23rd.
Remember, but see, this is another issue that we have, because I was always taught, and I learned that I had family that died for the right to vote.
Amen.
So I always cherished that. Now, the fact is that when I hear some of our brothers and sisters say, they all the same. Yeah, it don't make no difference what you do anyway.
Or my vote doesn't count.
Or my vote doesn't count. That's what they want you to
Absolutely.
think.
Absolutely.
That's grabbing you out of the crowd.
That's what they want you to think. Now, how do you control anybody? You control them by fear, by their money, by their knowledge.
Or by respect. Same thing with leadership. You're right.
There you go.
You're right. And I think that's the difference when you name those M's that you named, right? Those were individuals who led by respect, by sharing knowledge, not out of fear. I would go on the record, which my mama was telling me not to, that this administration believes kind of the opposite, right? They are leading our nation out of fear. Our Black and brown people who are recipients of TPS, living every day out of fear. Our Black and brown people who are simply trying to follow the correct path to gain legal citizenship. They're leading out of fear. Regular constituents who need more money for cost of living, housing, leading out of fear. Those individuals on SNAP, food stamps, Section 8, now trying to raise the fact of you got to work X amount of hours, have a job in order to get the same benefits that you're already fighting over in a circle or a cipher that's kind of hurtful. I want to go back to what you were talking about with your framework, because now we're talking about a lot of different things, and we don't spend enough time just speaking about our Black men, right? And so for our Black men who are listening to us live or who will be listening to segments going forward, why don't you share with us the plan to help our Black men be more empowered?
Well, we were talking about radical. This would definitely be radical. This would have to start basically from when the child is born. And we know from the ages of 0 to 3, most children are sensory. They take senses, they feel things, they can't express things, but they feel presence of people, they feel presence. That son of yours will feel you. If you give him love, you give him attention. He's going to look for father because he knows father's there. This is why it is so heartbreaking to see a lot of men that are not in the household at these crucial stage of young male development, especially. Girls are just as important, but young male development, all right? I don't know if you are noticing the same thing, but there are too many over emotional men between the ages of 17 and 30. Oh my God, I have never seen as many tear jerking, swang me, my hurt my heart. I hurt me. Oh my God.
Oh gee.
This is definitely but so we're so now yeah, but now we're but okay, so the platform is contradicting what we're saying. You're not. I am still battling for the idea that we are not. You can raise a black or brown boy to be a strong black man and also be emotionally conscious to different things. So we teach our boys and men, right? Not to cry in public, not to talk about their feelings in public, because these people are not expressing their emotions, which is why you walk past one day and you bump him and he just explodes, right? Or if you don't tell a person, hey, it's okay to cry, they're going to build up hypertension, and the least little thing is going to set them off. And then how are they handling that anger? They're pulverizing people, they're shooting people, they're killing people, right? Our women are raised, oh, you're soft and gentle, it's okay to cry, we're more emotional. But then our black men look at us and be like, oh my gosh, why are you so emotional? We need to find a healthy medium. And part of what I see, social media is not helping this at all.
Not at all.
Because men who are in touch with their feelings, and some of them are just saying they're in touch with their feelings because that's trending and you can monetize it on social media. But I think the men who are showing, their emotion, they're getting caught by elders, because in the time that you came up, in the generation before you, where you were busy trying to, stay alive and get your right to vote and come out of the plantation and the fighting that they put in between us with colorism, and it's just so much. Some of our elders need to cry a little bit too, need a hug. I saw there's a trend on Instagram where men between the ages, I want to say some of them look like high teens, some of them look like 20s and 30s, are showing videos where they walk up and they kiss their father. And the no. And the father's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like it's not normal for the son to kiss the father, or they walk up and they hug the father.
It's cultural. A lot of cultures.
I wouldn't do that. I never hugged or kissed my father in my entire life. So
but
nothing wrong with it.
It is.
There's nothing wrong.
Now I'm gonna tell you about.
That's why today when I ran into you on the street and I tried to hug you, you didn't really hug me.
We're in the middle of the street. I would have hugged the man across the street would have said, look at that. There's Rickie hugging somebody. I would have heard it all over the place.
But that's my point. In our black and brown community, we are so hard on each other. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Like I remember a long time ago, I met a gentleman. He had just come from Jamaica, right? And I might have been 25, 27, sitting in a room with people, and we were watching a Homer Simpson cartoon, right? Everybody's laughing. This man was sitting there just like this, straight face, and we kept looking back.
What's wrong with that?
I was like, what? I was like, you don't get it. And he says something like, I can't speak patois, but he basically said, all the laughter is an idiot thing. Men not supposed to be laughing, skinning up the teeth, laughing and stuff, right? But Black Americans are like that too. There are
That's
plenty
right.
of Black American
No smiling in
men
the house.
that
no
you
laughter.
don't smile.
When daddy's in the house, there's no laughter, no smiling. When daddy's in the house, remember that he'll give you a beating.
I didn't grow up in that kind
Now-
of house,
now
but
this
I
is-
grew up in a single family. My mom was mom and dad.
This is a good basis too for how things are right now. I remember, and Rick remembers, we were scared of two things: our parents and jail.
Yep.
No, third, God. We were scared of three.
Yeah.
We didn't want to mess up. We didn't want to mess up. If we talk about jail, you don't need to. At the time we were young, were you ashamed when you got arrested? You were ashamed.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
think
that. He
some
getting
people,
arrested.
some people still are, but because of the penal system, I learned for some young kids, right? A couple years ago, I was talking to some young boys, like they were teenagers, and
Why they are
all
so free? That's
they all had gotten arrested, and I went to pick up a friend's son from Rikers Island.
Mhm.
When he came out, he dropped his knees. He was crying. Said he'd never go back there again. These other kids were saying, oh, it's nothing. We YO'd out. And I'm like, what is
Wild.
what is YO?
Wild out.
And so no, YO is youth offender out when it comes to
You've been there under 18.
yeah. And
What
but
acronym?
yeah, but what happens is there's a belief between a lot of young people that the trouble you get into as a teenager, you're a teenager.
Mhm.
It goes away. It's
Yeah,
not a big
not on
thing.
record.
Except
they
for
squelch
if you
it out.
if you happen to catch that one charge or that one judge that says, we're gonna
Yep.
charge you as an adult, right? And that is something that's really scary. And again, goes back to, like you said, there was a time when people were really afraid of their parents for a lot of reasons. You were afraid of getting a whipping.
Mhm.
Now parents don't.
There you go.
I mean, I've had a switch hit me. I'm from the South, so had a switch, had an electric
Well, you're
cord.
juvenile delinquent your parents, and
Yeah, if
and
you
put
don't go to
away.
school, yep.
That's another-
But nowadays, young people can pick up the phone and call the police. Oh no, my mom hit me.
Nah.
Come get her.
How much a policeman's gonna believe that?
No, they do all the time.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm wondering, right, when I just mentioned about the application for Wakanda,
Yep.
I would like, if you have any responders, how many people feel that they could possibly have the qualifications and the wherewithal and the talent and the ability to enter Wakanda? What could you add to that civilization?
But why would we have to apply? We're black. Why would we have to apply? We just show up. That's what they did in Wakanda.
Well, let's put it like this. I do not believe that any uplifting society needs a drain on it of any kind, even if it's criminal, if it's people that are not trustworthy. I mean, we're talking about building a community here.
Mhm.
And if we know that there are some negative forces that might be there.
Oh my goodness, I thought you were saying the N-word for a second. You said negative. I thought you were saying the N-word.
No, he implied that he started to say.
No.
And then
What broke my heart a couple of weeks ago, they had a major bust over here, I think here in Brooklyn. 22 young black men. 22.
That's a lot.
Then the next week it was 17.
What
Same neighborhood.
were the 22 charged? What kind of charges?
Gang related, they hit men, homicidal, taking out contracts.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this may be wild to say, but if you have to shoot at your target from a moving thing, you are not a real assassin.
Right. So okay. So let's talk about that for a second. I think in society, we all have been hypocrites to some degree, right? We send mixed signals. For example, depending on your generation, people glorify movies like Scarface, The Godfather. On one hand, you say, oh, these gangsters were so whatever. And then and I'm not singling out the Italians because we have
You
Harlem
have to.
No, you can't single out Italians
You're
because we
looking at the Godfather himself.
no, listen, let me finish. I'm saying that the Italians have their mafias, but African American community, Harlem, what was his name? Bumpy
Johnson.
So my point, I'm
That's
saying,
Cotton come to Harlem.
right. But when I say I'm not singling out Italians, I'm saying that that's a figure in the Italian community that Black and brown, Jamaican, Haitian, everybody
wrong.
looks up to.
That's wrong.
But it happens.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing,
That's
like
wrong.
Bumpy Johnson and all of those people.
What are you doing acting like you're a white person? What are you doing?
Oh, Rickie.
Come on.
That's not
That's not
the point of what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that the hypocritical part of human nature is that in one hand you say, oh, crime is bad, it's terrible, and in the other hand you glorify it. Like back in the day, before I came to New York, I never really heard a lot about gangs, the ones that wear different colors, right? And so at one point, all of that was bad.
A gang was once wearing these black hats. That was a gang. Wearing a hat like this.
Okay.
It was a gang in Redwood. Just like that.
I believe you.
Today.
Are you representing the gang?
No, I just want them to know the black hat is in the house. It's in the house. He could be listening.
A contradiction, just like I said. And that is the problem. And as a female, I have to say that, they have that saying, oh, pretty girls like bad boys. We contradict ourselves in life. We tell people, hey, do you have the expertise? Do you have the qualities to come into Wakanda? And at the other hand, some of us girls say, well, I heard that guy's a murderer, but he sure is good looking.
That's it.
We have criminals during the pandemic that when they got their mug shots taken, there was at least 5. The mug shots got released, male and female, and these people, as soon as they came out, had modeling contracts. So I'm just saying, I think we all should be allowed in Wakanda because the other people don't want us. And when we get into Wakanda, the main thing we have to learn that we do not know how to do is love thy neighbor.
Right.
That is the problem in our Black and brown community. We do not support one another the way we should. We don't keep our dollar in our community. And if we go spend $1 in a Black or brown establishment, we hold the Black or brown small business owner to a much higher standard. We at one minute we admire them, oh, they have a business. Now, people don't even look at the Black and brown businesses as the accomplishment it is. Like, do you know how difficult it is to have a brick and mortar?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can pay $235 to New York State and file an LLC.
How is that company that you are running, that's in your business, that's construction? Like, how are they doing?
Oh, he's doing amazing.
Very good.
He's doing amazing. He's been in business. That's Caswell Powell Filming Enterprise, MBE certified with New York City, New York State, New York, New Jersey Port Authority. He does window tinting and security film.
That's so nice.
So yes, his business is awesome. And I found out his father had a business like that. But that has nothing to do with me. I just helped him get certification. He built his business all on his own. Now I'd like to get him some of those prime contracts for those of you who are listening.
Now that you touched on the economic part, that's another one. All right, here we go. When they started showing the commercial about, it was a Chime commercial or something where they showed black children learning how to do banking, having the new Chime card. I loved it.
Yep.
I loved it.
Yep.
These new accounts, you can invest in the stock market.
Right.
You can have set up a little side account for whatever you want. Vacation account linked to the kids now. I ain't never heard of vacation account. Like
But you know, that depends on where you come from. Because my mother, as a single parent, I got my first credit card before I was 18. My mother, I used to have, I think it used to be called a passport book when you were a child.
There you go.
When you had a children's account.
You gotta keep
And
it up
as a
and
matter
do
of
it.
fact,
Yeah.
so I was born in Alabama,
Mhm.
and relocated to Maryland when we were like, I was in the 6th grade.
Mhm.
So I grew up in Columbia, Maryland. I remember the first job my mother made me get, and I spent the rest of my life trying to make up for all the stupid things I said as a kid and didn't listen to her about. But I was 14 when I got my first job, which is technically too young to work.
Right.
And so, which meant I didn't really get paid. So I was a teacher's aide at a school for special needs. I have a aunt who passed in 2022 who had Down syndrome, right? So at 14, I volunteered at the school where these kids with special needs, and I didn't understand the purpose, the foundation, but my mother said, you volunteer this summer, you don't really make any money, but next year, when you're old enough, when you're 15 and you can start working part-time, you already have something on your for your resume. And at the end of that summer of working, volunteering, and I did I used to sit in model homes and put cookies in the oven and watch people, shop for homes. The end of that summer, the special needs school gave me a $25 gift certificate to Woodworth and Lothrop. I don't know if you remember.
Woolworth, oh my God.
I know you thought I was
F.W. Woolworth, yeah.
I know you thought I was 20, but now you know I'm not. But it's precedent. And then my mother used to take 50% of our paycheck. So our brothers
That's
there.
so nice.
No, it's not. As a young person, I couldn't understand that. Why are you taking 50% of my check? But she's teaching responsibility, right?
That's so nice.
And I think depending on where you live, people didn't get that kind of education. When I first came to New York, someone gave me a statistic that there's a high level amount of young boys of color who drop out of school before the age of 16. And during the pandemic, they had a program where I think it was something like $300 million or something they were investing into the DOE to attract more men of color to have teaching roles in the city, in the school district. Because I think a lot of young Black boys, when they're sitting in class, they're not seeing enough images of people in leadership that look like them.
That's true.
Right? So if you don't have a father at home, you don't have a father, a male figure in school, then those male figures that you come in contact are those guys maybe in the street who look like they have money, who are taking care of things. And I think a lot of people are seduced into a way of lives.
I've been looking at the trend of these younger people, and the big thing now is scams. How they're trying to scam people online.
It's not just young people though.
Well, they're hitting everybody.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is that we've always been good, and this is not just the thing like the old time white people used to tell us, well, you'll always be good at that, but electrician, plumber, carpenter, those will never go away. They're going to need piping in the 21st century. They're going to need electricity in the 23rd century. They're going to need
and we did a lot of those jobs, and I don't know if you're aware, within the last year, this administration gutted the entire vocational program
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Those and Job Corps. Remember hearing about Job Corps? Even in Columbia, Maryland, we had Job Corps because I remember there were kids that you were required to take a vocational class. And in middle school, you had to they taught home ec, and of course that was mostly girls in that class.
Mhm.
You could take wood shop.
That's
I
the
remember
first class
getting
they take, home economics.
getting fussed
Mhm.
at because didn't wear my glasses, protective glasses, and of course the wood shop teacher
What
would
was
tell
it?
you,
What was the school? Aviation, Automotive, Westinghouse.
Westinghouse,
Yeah.
Was
You
it
go
Clara
right into
Barton?
the MTA.
Yeah.
Clara Barton.
Nurses and the MTA, that's all it was.
Listen, there's the structure or the wherewithal is out there for young people. It's out there.
Hmm.
But the whole thing that we have a situation with is being easily influenced.
and distracted.
There you go.
I think a lot of people didn't vote recently because we had FIFA, we had the New York Knicks, love them, glad they won.
53 years.
And off camera, someone was explaining to me that this election that we had recently, June 23rd, where quite a few of our elected officials in certain districts that kind of broke my heart, like District 56, Assemblymember Stephanie Zinnerman lost her seat to a DCA person. That this election is usually not in June; it's usually later in the year.
A lot of our people, I have to start to understand that these little elections are the ones that are important too. They do
Yes.
the judges, they do the council people,
the local law.
They do
People
all
are
the-
afraid. That's what I always wondered about.
Well-
We're afraid to vote.
Well, you know what it is though. We go a lot with tide and feeling, and I don't want to do nothing don't seem important. I want to do it. I'm going to do it for the president election.
Yeah,
I'm going to do the governor.
yeah.
But the council person or the person that's on the school board that sets your child's curriculum is just as important.
Even more so, the small local laws. You're right. Council member, district leaders, Congress.
They're right on our level. They're right there. They're the first one. And in fact, I don't know if you ever saw a movie Red Dawn where
Yes.
where the
Right.
Russians came in.
Yes.
So the Ron O'Neill, he's old Superfly.
Mhm.
He's the Cuban commander that's there.
Mhm.
He looks at the town's mayor and said, "I am so sick of your pleasantries. I am so sick." They tell me he's sick of his BS. He's sick of, and a lot of these things that we see in movies that a lot of people, but a lot of things that are in there are flashers.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
flashers. All right. The one we talked about recently, Skynet. I was just
Oh,
looking at Terminator 2.
Mhm.
All right. To have the
We have a
ability
bubble over our head.
right now as we speak, there are drones that can track anybody
Anyway,
and take them out.
yeah, the floor. Yeah.
It's used in warfare right now as we
Yes.
speak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember an organization called MOVE back in 1978. They
Yeah,
bombed
I
those people.
I went to school in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I went to Drexel, so very familiar with mood.
They don't play games when you ain't playing games, so
What's
we
that
can't
park
play
we got
games.
bombed in? What's the name?
Move,
Rock Creek Park?
no, well,
I don't remember the name, but it was in West Philadelphia.
yeah, it was. There was a row of 4 houses that they went in,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they burnt the whole place. Kids got killed and everything.
Yeah.
But
That's
the
a part of
fact-
life, I guess.
But the fact is that we're in this 250 years. I'm looking at our people as far as us as a collective.
Mhm.
I ain't worried about them. I'm worried about us.
Mhm.
I'm worried about how we treating each other. I'm worried about the spirituality that we need to recapture.
Mhm.
All right. We all knew about the Most High. We can call him God. We can call him Allah. But we knew there was in fact, let me ask anybody that's listening out there, who controls the earth and the weather? Is it Mr. Trump? I don't think so. Is it any congressman? I don't think so. I think it's something that's much more complex. In fact, think about this, people. Do you know 1 mile up above 1 mile, you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Do you say what force made it so we as human beings can live within a 1 mile zone? If we can't breathe above that 1 mile zone, and it's kept that way for how long? Thousands of years?
Millions of years. Millions of years.
We don't know how insignificant we are.
Mm-hmm.
That brings humility.
Skynet is the start of changing that insignificance in our life. We have a bubble over our heads. If they shoot a rocket over our heads to bomb on us, we intercept it. Through Skynet. So
Well,
it is a start, but it's just for protection issues. So I don't know.
it's not well. Basically, Skynet says something like this: Skynet became self-aware December 13th, 2005, at 2:13 a.m. in the morning. That's how we're going to find out that we don't control anything anymore.
Yeah.
By that message.
Wow.
Mhm.
So I tend to get quiet when I don't have any facts to share about
Donnatella, you can
topic.
keep talking if you want to.
Yeah, Donnatella, go ahead.
No, but we're speaking about a topic that I'm not an expert in. so when the show is over, I'm gonna have to go look up Skynet, because when you said Skynet, I immediately thought of the technology that they implemented in Jamaica after this last hurricane.
That was base communication. This is
Yeah.
the one that's in the Terminator series that controls the war
You're
machines.
talking about the movie. Okay.
It controls
All
the
right.
war machines.
Now we're online. We're not actually talking about something that's happening here today. Okay, for clarity, for those of you who are listening, because I don't want people to be listening like, wait, what are they talking about right now?
No,
No.
these things.
So I do know what you're talking about.
We are closer to all of this than people realize.
Well, yeah, we have flock cameras. We have drones that do everything. You're now seeing robots walking around, partnering up in your house, and robots. These Android robots are
Where are we going, Donnatella?
combination combination of Siri advancements, Alexa, whatever her name is,
Mhm.
and then all this AI and the different things.
Yeah.
I wish there were a way, in all honesty, if I could talk to the God above and say, I really want to just come back, even if it's for a day, 75 years from now, to see what the world is like, because we have these I don't know if you've seen them. They have these single one body drone flying mobiles. You got the flying car, you got the little drone
The Jetsons.
mobiles.
This is the
They got
Jetsons.
it
Yeah,
with boats
but-
too,
yeah, and
War
so-
machine boats that are
So
unmanned.
so there are lots of technology. And during the pandemic, when or maybe it was toward the end or after, when the United States government admitted that there were UFOs or aliens,
Mhm.
I said, oh boy, we in trouble now.
Now, okay, so let's touch on that subject now.
Mhm.
I will throw this out there. Aliens, if they exist, are friends to black people. I'm sorry. They waiting to say, look, they got their 400 years. We about to help them out right now.
And how do you
But we about to help them out right now.
They know our handshake.
Here we go.
What we gonna-
Here we go. Now we talked
No.
about this in Anunnaki.
Anunnaki?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's too much similar to and then knowing the book of Enoch, going into that
I don't
about the
remember.
Watchers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember vaguely.
There's too much similarity
Between
running through
aliens
us,
and aliens.
and then it's like this common knowledge. We got much deeper knowledge back then, as far as we had a spiritual connection to the earth and the land and
Mhm.
and the cosmic forces.
Mhm.
And But a lot of our kings, when we start going into the tribes of Judah,
Mhm.
wasn't that nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so again,
Mm.
I used to read a lot. I don't remember as I'm getting older, but I want to go back to the fact that you think aliens like black and brown people.
They gonna come there and give us a shot.
They're gonna give us some
Li-
dap and
listen.
help us out.
They know our handshake. I'm telling you.
Here's the deal. The rich people right now, the billionaires are buying their spot. Look at the movie 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying their spot. They think you can buy their spot to heaven. They're going Elon, don't forget me, Elon. You don't gonna get me.
Well,
They don't-
we have some black
You see these
billionaires as
rockets?
well.
You see these rocket ships? They go straight up and
Uh-huh.
come straight back down to where they came from.
Right.
So that's a sign of
So
in development.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But what do you think
Yeah.
about our black billionaires?
All right. So if we have black billionaires, first of all, I would like to see who they are.
Well, Oprah's a billionaire. Rihanna is a 2-time billionaire now. Rihanna. I think who
You can
else?
say Jay-Z. You can say those guys.
But I don't remember if Jay-Z made it in the last year or two. I don't know if that's combined with Beyonce, but I know for a fact because I remember when Rihanna became a billionaire with her beauty line.
Mhm.
I remember receiving a phone call from someone I know that lives in Dubai and him wanting, this is maybe 2019, him wanting to get distribution rights to Rihanna Fenty Beauty
Fenty,
Africa. So unlike a lot of people, I think that young lady works very hard for the things that she has obtained, and she recently passed billionaire status again. So she's a 2-time billionaire.
I know she helps her home
Country.
town.
Yeah.
She helps them. So that is one example of someone doing something.
Well,
So
and then there's Oprah, who's a billionaire. And
She's an employer. Okay, that's number one. She employs.
yeah, so they do things, and what's funny to me or interesting is that people like myself who don't have money find it very easy to point out how a wealthy person should spend their money. But if I were to play the lottery and become a billionaire overnight, I would have to then say to myself, I'm now on that list of people that, especially people in New York, who say there should be no billionaires in the world.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah. And I mean, I believe in paying it forward.
Isn't there an event happening tonight about some billionaires named Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce?
Well, that's different. I wouldn't call that an event. She's getting married, and they rented out MSG, right? So everybody deserves love. I'm not gonna hate on her love because I need some myself. But yeah, she's getting married. They rented out the MSG. I think I started seeing that a day or two ago, and today's Friday, so it's happening tonight, right? Which means in the city you've got all those Swifties, her fans, sweating their little brains out, walking around in Manhattan trying to catch a glimpse in this horrible heat.
Yep.
And just a quick note, we heard the thunder and lightning that I assume is happening outside the studio. And I was going to say, it's 9:20. So there's a funny joke with our lovely friend Rickie.
Your funny joke.
No, but
All right,
it's
we're going to close it. We're going to close it.
Rickie, normally, he must be a true friend and fan of yours. Because at 9 o'clock, Rickie normally has, Friday night dates. And so Rickie
Yo, man, why you ain't tell me none of this, man?
Rickie would tell us. He would tell us at 9 o'clock, gotta go. Wrap it up. And it's 9:20.
The man act like he a preacher.
Well,
I can't get to him even though I got to be need a deacon over there. Thank you, Deacon. Thank you, Deacon.
But I love him because he does a lot of stuff. He helps me out as well.
He's a good man.
and only good people come on this platform. I think next week we have to do a show about the different people who ran for office, who came through our platform, who now no longer have their seat. I am concerned about these new DCA people that I've never seen with boots on the ground.
Yep.
And people, you gotta vote. vote, because I typically think if you don't vote, you should have nothing to say until the next election, right?
I'm going to throw this out there for your audience. Why don't, especially the young men, get yourself a theme song? I want you to have a song in your head that you can only associate with, that motivates you. I have two of them. Well, one of everybody uses Rocky.
Yeah.
But that's the type of thing I want you to have in your brain. That's only your own secret.
But here's the problem. Some of those young men and young women have theme songs. Some of them is the theme to Scarface. Right?
So change the theme song if you got one.
But so from Brooklyn, one of my favorite songs, and this is part of being a hypocrite, I have a very strong passion for the dance hall community, Caribbean community. And there is I can't think of the song now, but there is a song that talks about gunmen from the 90s. Not the year the 90s, but the area, the 90s. And anytime you play it, Brooklyn, Vibes Cartel, Brooklyn just goes crazy. The Caribbean community goes crazy. And that's what I mean by, the hypocrisy of some of the things that we talk about. Now that we're talking about gunmen, right? I got to tell you, there is something coming up next Saturday, July 18th, 2026. It is Cash for Guns. Cash for Guns. One of the most successful programs that's been running year to year. So, $500 bank card for operatable handguns and assault rifles. Now people, I'm going to tell you, they say, and I've spoken to the DA's office before, our DA and the deputy director. They do say you can bring these guns in, no questions asked, turn them in. People won't say anything to you. You can collect your money. So for ghost guns, I really would like to get ghost guns off the street. Ghost guns or 3D printed guns, a $200 bank card for each gun, a $75 bank card for operable rifles and shotguns, a $25 bank card for air guns, imitation pistols, and inoperable firearms. Why would somebody have imitation pistols? There are people who believe that they can rob you with a fake gun, and they'll get a lesser charge because it's not a real gun.
Yeah.
So this July 18th, 2026, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Great Emmanuel Baptist Church, 279 Lafayette Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. There's information about this in the caption of here. I see our producers like Donnatella. Can you hold the picture where they can actually see it? Cash for Guns. Thank you, Rickie James, for bringing this 2026 New York City gun buyback program. And then there's some frequently asked questions. Feel free to reach out to us. And hey, if you have guns and you're afraid to turn them in, you can send a direct message to Community Cuts BK, and we'll see if we can help you get those guns to the places and get them off the street.
And if you have any weapons, please, if you have children in there, unlock the clip, drop the clip, take the slugs out. All right, take them out right now.
Yeah.
And separate that clip from the doggone firearm.
And I think the other important part is to keep that gun in a safe, hidden, locked location. We want to send our prayers out. We know this summer, earlier this year, there's a 16-year-old child who lost his life in the park in Queens. There was another child who accidentally shot his cousin in the stomach. And these are kids. Again, we send mixed signals with some of these movies, conversations that parents and siblings are having, actions that our friends are seeing us do, and kids forget that guns kill people,
Yep.
right? And so sometimes it's not always the intent, but it
You
happens.
can bring a gun out, and the sight of a gun can kill someone.
Yeah. So this is Community Cuts BK on behalf of Rickie James, our esteemed guest, Robert Canton, you can call him Bob, and myself, Donnatella, and our founder, Duke Saunders, who's behind the camera. It is 9:28, and we don't want Rickie's girlfriend waiting too long. And I'm joking. I don't want any women trying to fight Rickie. I'm joking. Good night, you guys. Have a
Good
safe
night.
4th of July weekend.
Good night.
Shout out to America 250.
And y'all have a safe weekend and be good.
All right. So you still have